Administration from one of our senior most consultant who has been a part of Varnaaz and conducting many more trainings for our candidates, also for our corporate customers and SharePoint. And this is one of a series of demo webinar on 15th series. So I would like to invite you all. And apart from this, Varnaaz Technology is also working on some implementation projects in ERP and in D365. And we have also brought some new training programs like cloud technologies, Hadoop, Guideware Suite, so that you can also view our website www.varnaaz.com to know more inputs about this. And we also have our YouTube channels of latest demo webinars where we have conducted in last few months, and you can have a look through this. And we will just get back to you after this webinar. Sure. Mr. Manjunath, you can be a part of this, and right now you can have a discussion on SharePoint.
Yeah. Thank you, Ramya. That was a brief introduction.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's session of webinars on SharePoint development and administration. And first of all, I would like to thank each and every one of you showing interest to learn in this pandemic session, and hope you are staying safe in the current scenarios. Yeah, let me start with SharePoint. So what exactly the SharePoint is all about, and proceed with that. Uh, Let me know once you're able to see my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what exactly the SharePoint is all about? So if you look at the name SharePoint, it has the two terms, share plus point. So share is nothing but where a group of people come together and going to share certain things, let it be a document or a lists or any content, so that can be accessed by the group of team members. So what exactly the SharePoint is all about? SharePoint is nothing but a site or a web-based collaboration platform for an enterprise. Enterprise since it can be a company ranging from a small scale or a bigger scale of organization. So SharePoints is able to scale or meet the needs of the business. Okay, what else SharePoint can do? So along with the web-based collaboration platform, so SharePoint also acts as a content management system. For example, if you want, if yours is a product-based company where you want to publish your products to the customers and you want to market yourselves, SharePoint says yes, we are also a content management system along with the collaboration platform, so that help us the business to leverage the SharePoint along with the collaboration platform. So what else SharePoint can offer for us? So it says that yes, we also provide a document management system. Previously, what the customers used to do is that they used to store in a IBM Lotus or in any other file systems to store the documents. But there are certain loopholes available in those systems where Microsoft has come up with certain features where they'll be able to share specific people or organize in a specific way, so that that can be used for a different specific group of people. Okay, so SharePoint, as I said, SharePoint is a website. So what exactly you can do the SharePoint is that first thing is that you are going to build a website. So once you build a website, so what exactly you are going to do is that you are going to organize the things. Once you organize it, okay, what exactly I want to explore the things to my customers, what exactly I can share with my customers, or what exactly I can publish to the customers, and once you are organizing everything and once your website is ready, and it has to be built or it has to be managed. Let's see each and every tile or a component what exactly that does. Yeah, So build is nothing but you are going to build an internet site or an intranet site or an extranet site. So as I said, SharePoint is nothing but a site, a website. Share plus point. So it's a combination of two words where you're going to share a certain things, let it be a documents or lists or managing your content management system. So that can be an internet site or an intranet site or an extranet site. So what exactly is an internet site is nothing but it's a publishing phase. It's a public facing site where a group of people can come together and see the contents, where it can be an anonymous site or it can be authentication based site. And what exactly intranet site is that? Intranet site is something that which is accessible within your own organization. So where you don't want to let your site to be accessed beyond your firewalls. And what exactly your shape extranet is that? Extranet provides an option where you don't want your where you don't want your public to, uh, public users to access it, but you want to access with your site, share your site with your vendors. Let's say, for example, you are a product based company and you want to let your website to be accessed by your vendors who are doing a business with your website. Who are doing a business with your organization. So in that case, SharePoint provides where a mechanism where that can access between your internal employees and only with the vendors, but not with your public facing website. If you want to develop any public facing website, yes, is SharePoint server provides this internet facing sites, and intranet and extranet sites can be done with the help of it. SharePoint Online supports only this internet and extranet sites, but not the internet sites. Okay, so once you build a website, so according to your business requirements, so what exactly you are going to do, whether you are going to do for a document purpose or we're going to do some a project artifacts which are going to store in a website, or you're going to store what exactly once you organize these kind of things, what exactly you're going to do with them. So you're going to provide a social features, okay, what exactly you can do with them, sharing, and you're going to establish a communication with them, and you can provide features like, okay, I want to search within the SharePoint website. Yes, you can do all these things. Once this SharePoint site is ready, then once the SharePoint goes live, then obviously there should be a maintenance of a SharePoint site, because each and every SharePoint site has a certain limitation, where it can, for example, if you build an intranet site or an internet site of a collaboration platform, it can have only a specific storage limit where it can store up to, or you can give a maximum storage space of around uh, 1 GB or 200 GB, something like that. If it exceeds beyond that, then an admin has to pitch in over there and help the website to be accessed by other users. Okay, now, good. Now, we have all seen SharePoint is a website, and it is used by internet users or an extranet users or by the vendors where you share your documents or something like that. How exactly the architecture has been designed by the Microsoft? So what exactly? So the Microsoft recommendations is that I have taken just a sample example. It's not an sample example from the Microsoft documentation. So if you look at this one, right, so this is a SharePoint server form architecture where you have a web front end servers. So one server, server two, and application server and database servers. You may think, what exactly are these web tiers, application tier, and database tiers? Web tiers are nothing but a web front end servers where you will be able to uh, provision a central administration site, but you make sure that you are accessing that only for responsible for incoming request and sending a response to that. Beyond that, once a request receives this one, whenever a customer sends access for a SharePoint site, then it's directly going to hit our web front-end server. So it is basically responsible for handling the incoming request and sending the response to the user. Now let's say we have a SharePoint website which is displaying the information related to the sales, or which is displayed in an Excel spreadsheet. Now, if my SharePoint website needs to get an Excel data, then it has to communicate with the application layer, which provides all the business logic. So which has all the business logic. So what does it do is that, okay, some customer is requesting for a website, so it needs the data from an Excel sheet. So it is having this Excel service, means a business logic which has been tied with that, which provides certain service is going to handle by this application layer. Now this application layer is going to talk to the database and get the relevant data and sends the response back to the web tier, and it's going to send the response. Now on top of this, you can see the load balancer. What exactly it does is that, as we all know that each and every server is capable of handling certain limitation of number of requests. Now if it exceeds beyond that, or if a server has this server is going down, then obviously there should be another failover server which can handle those requests, which can, so that your customer don't see the responsible for, I mean, server is not accessible or it's not able to accessible like that. It's not that it's not restricted that you can handle only two web front-end servers. Depends upon the uh, depending upon the number of customers, you can keep scaling the web front-end tiers, so as per your business requirement and the complexity of your application. Same is applicable for your application logic as well. Okay. Now you can see here different types of applications, I mean services, or the business logic which has been tied over the application services, like a search kind of a service, or search component service, or indexing kind of things, and database server mainly for all the whatever the services which are going to be provisioned in the SharePoint. It's going to create a database for that. Okay. Now this is at a highest server level form architecture. How about, is the same, which is the same architecture applicable for the SharePoint Online? No, SharePoint Online doesn't require all these kind of web front-end servers or anything like that. So yeah. So now if you look at this architecture at a SharePoint site level, so you will have a root, I mean, you have on a top level site collection. Underneath that, you will have the hierarchy of, okay, top levels, I mean, sites, subsites, underneath that, lists, fields, and list items. You might think, what exactly is this or? So site collection is nothing but a parent site, which is mainly holding the entire website. Underneath that, you are going to have a subsites. For example, you can consider microsoft.com as a parent website, so underneath that you can have subsites like uh, Office 365, or you can consider some of the other subsites relevant to that. Okay, so under Office 365, you consider that as one other subsite. You can consider under Office 365, you can have something like SharePoint, Outlook, I mean, all the Office related subsites over here. Now, what exactly this list and lists are? List stores the data in terms of a tabular format, means it stores the data in form of tabular, in form of rows and columns. Okay, now so what exactly are these now? You might think, what kind of data type it can store. SharePoint supports all the most of the relevant data types, where it can store like datetime objects, or it can store any kind of it supports most of the data types which suits for the business requirements. Okay. Now, who are the users of SharePoint? Who are the basic users of SharePoint? Well and good that we have a SharePoint server level architecture, or a SharePoint online architecture, or a SharePoint online level. Who are my basic users of SharePoint? Who are my basic end users of, who are the basic users of SharePoint? Are nothing but SharePoint administrators, or a site collection level administrators, or the developers who customizes the SharePoint functionalities, or who enhances the SharePoint extensions of SharePoint, or the end users or the business users who uses the SharePoint, or the customers. Now, what exactly the role of SharePoint administrators is that? Now, if you look at the previous slide, so if you observe here, SharePoint administrator is responsible for all configuring or managing all this kind of server setup, or configuring all these kind of services. Now, let's say, for example, you created a SharePoint server form, and you want to provision a certain kind of services like uh, Excel services, or a search services, or you want to configure some user profile services. Now, SharePoint administrator, a server level administrator, is responsible for handling all these kind of administrative tasks. Not only that, If any server goes down in this form architecture, SharePoint administrator is mainly responsible for taking care of what's happening with this SharePoint form, why the SharePoint is not able to handle the request. He is able to remove the server from the load balancing, and he's able to handle fix the issue, and he's going to uh, uh, solve the problems. Not only that, he's also able to provide all the basic kind of administrative tasks for the SharePoint level. Now, how about are the stars same for SharePoint Online? No, SharePoint Online will have a different kind of administrative activities. In a short while, we will see that what exactly we are going to see now. Okay, let me quickly go to the SharePoint administration, SharePoint administration. Now, this is my SharePoint 2019 administration screen. Now, whatever your screen now, right? So this is my SharePoint online, the SharePoint administration screen. Uh, uh, Hope you are able to see my screen, right? SharePoint Central Administration screen.
Yes.
Everybody are able to see my SharePoint Central Administration screen, right?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
Mm.
good. Now, as I said, SharePoint is nothing but a website. Even central administration is also a website. So what exactly is a website is nothing but SharePoint is going to whenever you install a SharePoint, what exactly it's going to do is that it is going to provision an IIS website called Central Administration. So which is a centralized location where you are going to perform all the administrative tasks with respect to the SharePoint. Let it be creating a new site collection, or let it be provisioning of some services which are required for the uh, required for your SharePoint or any other services. Now let's look at that one by one. Okay. Now see here, I can go ahead and create a new web applications over here. And if you look at here, right, I can go ahead and so that he will be able to come and deploy the form solutions like uploading a file over here. It will come and you can just add a package over here, so that can be applicable for all your site users. Okay. Along with that, SharePoint also have some features like security. Okay, what exactly who are the group of users whom the target users are? For example, you want to make sure that certain administration users needs to be added at a form level. Yes, you can come and provision over here. Okay. And also SharePoint also provides some features like, okay, once you upgrade from lower version to the higher version, let's say for example you have migrated from SharePoint 2013 to SharePoint 2016 or SharePoint 2016 to 2019, you can come and check the upgrade status. Okay, how exactly my upgrade status, all my features, all my features are successfully migrated or not. It will be able to view that. Along with that, SharePoint also provides some features like whenever some update has happened to the SharePoint, or some patch has been installed on SharePoint, or Microsoft releases a patch, then SharePoint administrators can come and check. Once the installation is successfully installed, then come and check here, okay, what exactly may the status of here my SharePoint patch status. Okay. And also SharePoint also provides some of the features like not only that a developer is providing the customized apps, like how we have the app stores of an iPhone or a Google Play Store. SharePoint also provides some an app store where a developers can, or where a corporate can go and purchase the apps for their own business requirements, because end of the day your business wants to get the solution to be resolved. It doesn't mean that your developer has to solve it. So if they're ready-made available, if there are apps are available in the market store, in an app store, then the business can go and procure it. So how does the SharePoint provides is that, so you can provide a purchase these apps for your SharePoint, so that you will be able to provide this uh, SharePoint would be able to, I mean, SharePoint can go and leverage those apps for the business users. And also, now let's say we all know that we are in a hybrid environment, means we have an on-premises environment and we have an online environment. Now let's say you have a business requirement that you are business users who want to talk to the SharePoint online, or you want to access the data from SharePoint online. Then then Microsoft provided an opportunity, like Microsoft provided features like a configure and a hybrid environments, where you will be able to it provides a tool where you can talk to an Office 365 features, Office 365 site, and you can where you could be where you will be talked in Office 365 sites. Now let's look at the how exactly now whatever we have seen is a high level, not in-depth level. It's a high level of SharePoint central administration. There are so many other administrative features like backup and restore and other features. Now let's look at the how SharePoint Online is providing the administration features. Now, how did I go here? How did I come here? Is that you need to have now, if I want to have the SharePoint administration, I need to get the SharePoint installed on my machine. So SharePoint installed on my machine with Windows Server, and on top of it, you need to have a SQL Server, and then you can go and install the SharePoint server. But with respect to the SharePoint Online, you don't need to install anything. Only thing is you need to have a license. You need to go and have the license for the SharePoint Online. So which comes with a, either you can go with a separate package with a SharePoint, or you can go with Office 365. Okay, now I have configured my trial version with the SharePoint Online. So this is the SharePoint Admin Center, how it looks like, how it looks when compared with the SharePoint server level Admin Center, and you can see the difference. What exactly the how heavy the SharePoint server is, and how the lightweight the SharePoint Online is. If you observe here, there are so many features like web applications. So web applications are not part of SharePoint Online. You are not going to have any SharePoint web applications here. So in SharePoint Online, you are going to have only the site collections. You are going to have only at the site collection level, not at the form level. So if you observe the form architecture, you are going to have the web applications. Under web applications, you are going to have the site collections. But whereas SharePoint Online, you can have only the site collection. You are not going to have the web applications, only at the site collections. Now, so what exactly the SharePoint Online administrators can do here? Now, if you observe the here, right, now if an administrator want to create a website, so how can he can go and create a website in SharePoint Central Administration, in SharePoint Server? He has some options like create a site collection, so on. Now, is it the same features available in SharePoint Online? Yes, but before we go here, now this is a modern UI. Whatever we are seeing here is a SharePoint modern UI. Let's get back to how exactly it looks like in a SharePoint before modernization. Now I'll just go back to the more uh, classical version of how exactly SharePoint is looking. So I'll just quickly go over there. Uh, yeah. Now, if you observe here, this is a classic version of SharePoint Online. This is more of a similar to our SharePoint administration, what you are looking like now. I mean, with respect to SharePoint administration. So if you observe this one, this is my SharePoint server level administration, which is having a heavy components like manage web application level. Now when I go back to my SharePoint Online in a classical version, you see here you can create only the site collections. But when you go to the central administration level, you can create web application. Means you are having a more IAS website level. You are going to have a more uh, privileges in SharePoint Server than in SharePoint Online, more powerful features in SharePoint Server. Okay, now just observe now same SharePoint modern UI. If you observe here, now you are seeing three different UIs. One is the SharePoint server level, SharePoint server administration UI, and what you're now seeing is SharePoint a site collection level administrator. It's a classic version, and now you are seeing the same UI of SharePoint. Same UI. If you observe here, now you have the developer side, dev yes, dev team side, and all these sites are available, which are viewing in a classical version, in a classic version. Okay, now well and good. Now let's see how exactly the look and feel of the classic version and uh, uh, classic version and the modern based web version will look like. Now what I'll do is that now whatever the web applications or whatever the site collections which I have created now, let us look into that and let's see how exactly my classic site looks like, and how exactly it looks like, and how I can go ahead and create that. Let me, I think I have classic websites. I can go ahead and so I can I think it's not there inside this. Okay, so I can create one. Mm, okay, that's because now you observe here now if you observe here the error, right? You can see here the error says there are no content databases mapped to this particular web application. Now let me quickly go back to my application here. If you observe here, now the databases, now you see here SharePoint is tightly integrated with the databases. Now what exactly the error we are getting is that now whatever the web application what you are created now, there are no content databases mapped to that. Means I need to make sure that when I'm creating web application the database is existing for that. So since I have selected some web application which is not having a proper database, so that's the reason why it's not able to create for that. Now let me change web application, or let me take this dev site and I can go ahead and create that. Let me do the same. It's talking to the AD and getting the user details. And also I want to show some other teams, some other templates here. Now you can see here different templates here. Search center or a publishing sites, or if you want to have your own custom templates, or you want to have some product based site, or you want to have something like my site host, for example, you want to have yourself our own website. Means for example, we are creating a website for a business users or for a customers. Now let's say for example you should yourself have one own website for yourself, which you can store your personal website and which can store your personal documents. It also shows your organization hierarchy, who are your managers and so on. This website helps you to get this. I mean, this is basically a template which helps you to provision all this kind of features for you. Okay, now I have selected a team site. Now I'm selecting since I'm in a SharePoint 2019, so it provides me a features like, okay, whether you want to go with the classic version or whether you want to go with a modern version. So I'm selecting the modern based version. Now I'm clicking on create. Now it should be able to create this for us successfully. uh, Something wrong with this, already another site existing. Okay, so it says there is another website with the same name. Okay, now let's go back and grab that site. Okay, now application management, go to view all site collections. So there is a site dev is there here. So what I can do is that I can access that site. So I can just need to do is that I can just grab this site and I can access it. So I should be able to access this website. So this is how the modern website looks like in a SharePoint server version. So I'm server version of my SharePoint. Now let's look at the same features, how exactly it looks like in SharePoint Online. Now I can go ahead and create a private site collection. You can see here the same features, same functionalities, same templates with the minimum, not that all the templates which are available in SharePoint server, but a minimum version of the, a minimized version of the templates here. Okay, so in SharePoint Online also we have the developer side which provides me which provides for the developers to create their own apps or a custom apps. For that you can select the template, and same here also we have the same templates available over here, and I can go and create my own site. So here like test. Okay, so now where exactly this Office 365 is connected now? In SharePoint server, it's connected to my local AD, means corporate AD. But how about my Office 365? Where exactly is that connected? It's connected to your Office 365 Azure AD, or it can be Office 365 Active Directory. This is one. It's an Azure AD which will be connected to that. So all the users will be stored in your Office 365 AD. So from there, all these users will be pulled out. So I'll click on Manjuna. Yes. So there's the one. Now click on OK. It's going to provision the site for me. Okay. So let it take some time. It will take some time. Now let's come to the modernized version. So before going to the modernized version, let's see how exactly the classic version of SharePoint site looks like, and before we get into the modernized version. So what I'll do is that I'll quickly go and create one more classic version and see how exactly before modernized version of SharePoint, how exactly it was, how the Microsoft has improvised the features in the SharePoint Dev Classic. So I just put that. Now I'm going to take the classic version. So this is my SharePoint server, svc.sp form. So this is my account which I am logging into, like this, and click on OK. So it's going to provision the site for me. Okay. Now I'll quickly go back to my PPT and see. We have seen that top level sites. Now whatever the sites which we are seeing here, right, these are the top level sites what we are seeing now, right? This is my top level site. So underneath that I can go and create a new subsites, or I can go and add subsites over here. So I can come here, I can create a new subsites, can come here new subsites, and I can go on create a subsites. Means you are going to create a hierarchy under the dev site. Now if I want to create it under a dev site, one more sub hierarchy like dev 2 site, so I can go ahead and create that. So I can select any of the template based upon my business requirement. A team site basically for collaboration purpose, or a project site which is mainly for storing the project artifacts, so which has a project templates. So I can make use of the team site or a blog site. Now let's say I want to create a blog site. So now it says whether you want to propagate the permissions from the parent site. Yes, I can get the permissions from the parent site, so that the same permissions will be inherited to my children sites. Now if you don't want to inherit the permissions for your parent site, yes, you can break the permissions and you can inherit, you can have your own permission sets. Okay, you can have your own permissions. Now it shows some of the features like whether you want to display on the top level navigation, yes or no, or whether you want to display on the left hand navigation, yes or no. These are the things which says that one. Now I can click on create that, it's going to create a subsite. Okay. Now we have some other things like lists. So what exactly these lists are? As I said previously, lists store the data in the form of rows and columns. Now let's get into that. Now it provisioned my blog site. Now you can see the blog site created here. And now let's look at the how the classical site looks like before the modern site. We will see the differences of how the modern site was looking, how the classical site looks like, and we will see more rich UI based, more rich UI, and so as well as it's a responsive design in modern SharePoint Online. So this is my subsite, whatever you are seeing here, and my dev is my root level site, and dev2 is my subsite. So dev is having some subsite. It's a root level team site. It's a modern site team, modern team site. And when I go back to my modern, when I go back to my dev site, dev2, you can see here, dev2. This is my subsite over here. Okay. Now it's taking some time to load the classic site. Okay. I just want to show you how exactly the modern UI is different from that of a classical version of the SharePoint, so that you will feel the difference and the wow factor. You can feel that wow factor in how the Microsoft implemented the SharePoint in a newer version. Okay, so it is taking too long. Okay, now let's see what exactly it looks like. Yes. Now, whatever you're seeing here, right? It's a classical site of a SharePoint Online site. It's a classical site. Now, you just see the difference, how exactly the classical version and the modern version of SharePoint looks like. See, the same site which you have documents, site contents, pages. Now, you will not see the difference. I will show you the different way how exactly with a rich template. Now whatever I have selected is not having a proper template over here. I mean a rich UI or rich templates are not available here. I will show you exactly how the rich template UI looks like. Now if you look at here, you have the same home, documents, pages, site contents. If you observe here the same uh, my see here, home, document, site, pages. This is a more appealing is there, but more appealing how you are going to get that. So you are going to add, or you're going to provide a feature such a way that how exactly you want to look like, what exactly you want to add here. Okay, now you can see here I can go and make it, how exactly the layout should look like. So now if you observe here, in a single page itself I am able to provide a different kind of layouts which is more user friendly, which I can decide, okay, how exactly it should look like my content for the business users. Depending upon your business requirement, we can go and keep adding the layouts here. We can change the layouts over here, and I can go and close it over. And I want to show you one more thing over here. So now let's say I want to edit here, and I want to add something over here. So let's say I want to add. Now you observe here, you observe the difference in the modern UI. See, now when I click on add, it giving me the client side web parts, client side controls, which can be loaded on a page, like events, gallery, people, quick chart, quick links, Yammer. These are the web parts, are client side web parts, which can be rendered on a page. I will show you more appealing one. So let me open that. Okay. So I have something called yeah. So now this is a shame. This is the same SharePoint online publishing. This is the same online publishing site. What we are seeing now. If you observe here, this is a classical version of SharePoint site, and what we are now seeing is a more modernized, rich UI with more appealing to the business users. Now, what we are seeing now is for publishing site. It's a where you want to communicate, where you want to publish to the business users, where you want to say that okay, this is for communicating to the I something is going to happening, or some events are happening, some trainings are happening, so we are going to display over here. Now how exactly, where exactly these are coming from? Now if I go to uh, our website, the classical website or the modern website, now you see here what exactly are these are. Now when I look at here, these are the controls. These are the controls which pulls the data from different places and displays on our website. Now you observe here, this is the full-fledged one. So when I click on edit, you can see the same features. Now see here, I can edit here the same. It's getting the data from a different data sources, and it is pulling the data from different data sources, and it's showing over here. See here, same. Now whatever we observe here, right, these are the sections which you can populate the data with from a different data source. Means you're publishing or you're communicating to the business users or to your customers the way you're presenting in a more appealing way. If you look at the classical version, it's like more dull and not in a more appealing way. This is how your classical SharePoint site looks like. It's a collaboration site. I'm not saying it's a publishing site, it's a collaboration site. Okay. Now, let me go back here and see that. Now, let's come here to the modern SharePoint admin center and see what exactly it's going to provide for us. Now what we have done in classical version of SharePoint online is that we went here, we created a site collection. Okay, well and good, but what Microsoft is saying is that yes, we are providing you a templates which are more rich, appealing sites. Let's go ahead and create them. So how to create that? So like classical version, how we went here and created the site, go to your click on site collections, new private site collection, and then we are going to select the template, which template we want to create a site. But whereas in kind of an admin, more modern admin, how we are going to create is that click on create. Now it shows, okay, Microsoft says we have provided you more rich UI, modern team site where you can customize or where you can change it according to your where you can use it or where you can configure according to your business needs. So I can go and select this communication site, or now uh, this template, whatever you're seeing here, right? So I have selected a different same template but in a different way here, the communication site, right? This is a communication template what you're seeing now here. Okay, so now I can go ahead and create a communication site. So, okay, I want to showcase what it's a design. It's a design UI. How exactly you want to have the design is. So I want to have the topic, or whether you want to have a blank, you would want to configure by yourself, or whether you want to Microsoft to give a basic controls added in the page. Yes. So I can go and give here dev community uh, site. So I can give my site owner. So since it's SharePoint Online, so I just gives that. Okay, it should finish that. Probably I need to refresh the site, or it's getting, yep. So it's getting provisioned. So let it take some time. Okay. Meanwhile, I will also create one more site called team site, a dev. So this is in a modern UI. I'm going to create in a more team site. So same way I can select here the site. Okay. So it's going to add me the owner. Manjunath. Yes. I can select the language. So let it be in English. In advanced settings, do you want to share only to specific group of users, or whether you want to share with any set of users? Yes. So you can hear only members of this access the site, or anyone within your organization who are authenticated users can log into this site, or within only the users who are going to grant the permission to the site. So now let's say I want to I decide to be accessible only for the users whom I grant the permission. So next, if you want to add any additional owners, yes, if you want, you can add additional users, and you can click on finish. So what exactly it's going to do is that it is going to provision me the team site. Okay. Now, thus, we are seeing a different UI of classical SharePoint Online Admin Center and modern Admin Center. Is there any difference? No, the functionalities are all the same, but only thing is the way you are seeing Wizard, it's having a more modern UI, and it's not the classical UI. Now, for example, if you want to create now in the SharePoint modern UI in a modern administration, if you want to create SharePoint classical site. So how can I create that? Yes, how to do is that you can click on more features. You can see all the features which are available over here. For example, if I go to the SharePoint Online, if I go to the classic version of SharePoint Online, you can see here user profile service. Means if I want to have my own my hosted site, means where it provides all my information about my organization or information about my details and so on. So the same user profile site, I can go and configure here, which will have my host site, or where you can configure for your OneDrive, or we can, if you want to have your apps configure, means where if you want to configure an app catalog for your SharePoint, yes, you can configure the same apps over here. So if you go to the app catalog site, so what exactly it's going to do is that it's going to navigate to that particular feature. That's it. It has, they are given a functionality inside a SharePoint that gives me to the SharePoint uh, SharePoint added to the modern UI. Now let me go back here to the modern UI and show you one more thing. One important feature in modern UI is that something called as hub sites. Now we all know that when we create a particular website in an organization, it's a more business requirement that a navigation in the top level should be the same across the entire organization. Means a number of web subsites you create, so it should have the same organization. Okay, if you want whether your organization navigation should be there, means then such kind of features can be provided with the help of hub sites. So hub is nothing but where it provides a menu, or where it's going to provide a kind of a shared features across your subsite. So I can register, I can create a normal subsite, and I can register this subsite. Means whatever the parent site, so hub site is nothing but a parent site which is going to share its functionalities or the menu to its menu and all other functionalities of its to its subsites. So there's nothing but a hub site feature. So if you register that, it's going to act as a hub site for your other subsites. I mean, it's your other websites. Now once I create this hub site right now, how do other sites can go and get the navigation, get the register them with the parent site? That hub site is that they can go and register them as a associate with the hub. Means for example, now I created this dev site, let's say dev this site as a hub site. Now let's say I register this as a hub site. So when I create this, it's going to register my site as a hub site, and I can go and register my all my dev site or dev theme site associated with that particular hub site. It's taking some time. Okay. Okay. Now, let's say if I want to associate with this developer site, or if I want to associate with the hub site, means I can just go and associate with the hub. So it will select the hub, which is my hub I have selected. So this is my hub which I have selected. Okay. So I can click on the save. So what is going to happen is that it is going to associate my website to the particular, means I'm linking to that particular hub site, means whatever the navigation which is having in the parent site, it is going to get me to the sub-site level, means at another sub-site, another site, root level site. Now, well and good. We have seen till now the admin functionalities, admin features. How about the customizations to the SharePoint? What are the customizations I can do with the SharePoint? Now, what customizations do the SharePoint offers? So what are the features which we can customize? What exactly we can do that? Now, SharePoint Online can provide a different kind of functionalities or different kind of customizations. SharePoint Server provides a different customizations features. Means what I'm saying here is that SharePoint Server allows your code to run in the server, means you can allows your code to run on the server, or it can allows your code to run on any other Azure, or it's a client-based code, it can run. But SharePoint Online, which allows you to run your code only on the in a client side, it won't allow you any server-side code. SharePoint Online strictly client-side, no server-side code. There are no client-side customize. I mean, there are no server-side code allowed in the SharePoint Online. So how can we do that? So Microsoft has come up with certain functionalities called SharePoint apps, SharePoint add-ins, and now modern UI client-side web parts. Now, how do I add them? How do I get them? So now let's look at them. Okay. So what are the environment? So what is the environment do I need to have? Now, let's say, for example, I want to develop a custom controls. So custom controls for a SharePoint, how can I do that? If, for example, if you're working for a SharePoint server, how can I develop my SharePoint custom server side controls? Means what you need to do is that file, new project, you need to create a project, and you can select your version of your SharePoint. Let's say if you want to go for a SharePoint Online, I mean, if you I'm sorry, there was a power disruption. So, yep, let me share my screen. Hope you are able to follow what I'm saying till now. Guys, you were able to follow till now whatever I've said. I have taken, I have walked you through the what exactly the SharePoint is, how exactly the SharePoint server looks like, SharePoint Online looks like, and the classic version. So, guys, you were able to follow till now. Guys, you were able to follow till now whatever I have walked you through. That I have walked you through the from SharePoint. I have shown you how exactly the SharePoint server looks like, SharePoint Online, SharePoint Modern site, and you have seen the differences. So how the what exactly the functional is at the SharePoint server level, SharePoint Online level. Now let's get into the customizations. Is there any doubt? Do you have any doubts over there? Clarification before I proceed the SharePoint development. So I just walk you through the what exactly the customization you can do with SharePoint Online, SharePoint Online and SharePoint Server. I just walk you through briefly. So what we can do with the SharePoint Server and SharePoint Online. Any doubts, guys?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, Dinesh, I can hear you. It's Dinesh, right?
Yes, I'm Dinesh actually. So I have a doubt like if we have created in modern site collection or what, can we do that as an anonymous website?
No, modern, see, SharePoint Online is basically anonymous is not allowed. You need to remember that SharePoint Online does not allow you the anonymous authentication. The SharePoint server allows you the anonymous, not the SharePoint Online.
Okay, that is basically it's I mean on
Authentication
premises
base.
we can do that, right?
Yes, yes, basically only for on-premises basis, only for on-premises you allow that internet sites and anonymous sites, not with online. So,
Okay.
okay.
So
So,
so so that modern classic site, is that possible? It's not possible, right?
no, 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 no. Any SharePoint online sites, no anonymous, no
Okay.
anonymous.
Okay.
So I'll just
Thank
walk
you.
you through briefly, what customizations you can do with the SharePoint server and SharePoint Online, what exactly the programming models which are available for SharePoint Online and SharePoint. I'll just quickly walk you through them.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
So what are the different tools available for us if I want to do the customizations? First thing is that if you are working as a SharePoint server, means you need to have the Visual Studio and you need to have the templates installed for you. By default, you will not have the default templates installed for your visuals. I mean, you need to install those templates. How can you get is that you can go to your Visual Studio templates. So it will provide you the templates which are already installed for you, and you can go and select the templates. If they are not installed, and you can go and grab them and you can select them. Let me quickly show you that one. Okay. So now, so this is my template. If you observe here, Office 365 or SharePoint development templates, which I have selected so that I will be able to make use of the SharePoint templates. Okay. Now, I'll close that. Now I can select my SharePoint Online or SharePoint 2019 templates. Now I can go ahead and create the templates or an empty project, or I can provide a select the templates available, and I can create the solutions for that. So what I'm going to do now is that currently, since I don't have the SharePoint server installed on my local machine, so I cannot create SharePoint server templates over here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select a SharePoint add-on. So what exactly it does is that it's going to create a app which allows me to install, or which allows me to create a custom components or extend or customize the functionalities for SharePoint on a SharePoint hosted, or it can be a Azure hosted. Let me walk you through that. When I click on SharePoint add-in, let's say I want to put over there. Now it asks what is the name of that, where is the location, the solution. Click on create. Now, if you observe here, it is asking whether you want to create this SharePoint add-in for your SharePoint online, or whether you want to create for your SharePoint server, or whether you want to create for yourself. So now SharePoint add-ins are nothing but SharePoint apps. They are the custom components where you're going to write your custom code. Now, one important point here is that SharePoint Online doesn't support any server-side code. So if you want to write any still, if you want to write any server-side code for SharePoint Online, yes, it is possible. But only thing is that you are not going to run your SharePoint code in SharePoint Online, but it's going to run in Microsoft Azure, or it's going to run in any IaaS website. So that is nothing but a provided hosted. So that component is going to run in a different place. Now, if I select the SharePoint hosted, right, so the same component that's going to run in my SharePoint means it's going to run inside the SharePoint context, the SharePoint online context. Okay. Now, when I select this, now if you observe previously, this is my developer side. As I said, if you want to develop any custom components, especially for your SharePoint online, then you need to have a developer side. So how did I create a developer side? So that's very simple. If you go to classic site or create site collection, there is one template called developer site where you need to select that template, which will allows me to create a developer site template. I'll quickly show you that. So this is a basic thumb rule always we need to follow, that this style template is selected if you are developing for SharePoint Online, any customizations, right? Especially you are working on SharePoint add-ons, provider hosted SharePoint hosted apps, you are going to select this template and you're going to create that same template. I have selected over here, and I have selected over here and I pasted over here so that your app can go and deploy over there and can run over there. Now, when I click on next, now if you have provided your SharePoint on-premises site, okay, it's going to say, okay, SharePoint, you can select this option, SharePoint Server 2013, 2016, or 2019. Since my environment, target environment is SharePoint Online, I have selected that as SharePoint Online. When I click on finish, it's going to create all the project artifacts which are required for me. So I have already created that SharePoint hosted app. Right. Uh, I need to select that. Select the SharePoint add-in and I click on next. So let it be the so you can select the target framework. I mean, I'm going to select the framework here. So click on create. Now I'm going to select the SharePoint hosted app. Okay, so I'm going to take the SharePoint Online. So it's going to create all the project structure, I mean, which is required for me. Now, one important point here is that if you observe here, right, you can customize the SharePoint code, but not the server-side code, purely JavaScript, client-side SharePoint object model code. Now, where exactly is that? See, app.js is the file where it provides all the SharePoint client object code. Means Microsoft is providing one library which you need to make sure you are injecting that library inside the page so that you are able to access those objects and make use of your customizing the objects. So in this, what I'm doing is that I'm loading one library from the Microsoft called Sharepoint.js. What it does is that it loads before my code executes, and what it does is that in that context, whoever the user has the default Microsoft methods, okay, which are generated. So get current user, it gets the current user, and what it does is that it is going to execute the query. Means it is going to execute the query and send the request, and is going to get the response. Once the response is received, so it is going to bind the data to the HTML. Now, if you observe here, the ID. So if you can see that ID inside some pages here. If you observe here, default.message space. So there is one ID called, see here, message. So that's an ASPX page. It's an ID which is being tagged, or which the data is being binded to the uh, where the data is being binded. Now, well and good. Now let's say our app is ready. We have done everything is well and good when we are running. Now, how do I push my code to the SharePoint Online, or how can I test this? Now, what you can do is that how can I run this? Now you just now in the beginning you remembered we added the SharePoint Online side. Just click on the start button. What it does is that it's going to connect to the developer side, and it says, okay, go and run that app inside that whatever the run this code inside that particular app. So let it load. Meanwhile, we have seen another option, right? When we are creating and file new project, that provider hosted add-in, right? So that project is not, this is the class server side code. I mean, when we select the provider hosted add-in, right, it is going to generate all these artifacts. The server, I have not written this code, so it was generated by default. If you want to write a server side code, if you're a core .NET guys, we want to still use a server side code, means for a SharePoint Online, yes, you can use it, but only thing is you cannot install or you cannot run this code inside a SharePoint Online. Instead, you have to host it outside the SharePoint, outside the SharePoint. So that is nothing but Outside the SharePoint means you're going to host it in Azure where that app is going to run. So uh, so let's quickly show you that how exactly the apps look like. So I have this developer site. So when I go here, right, it is asking some authentication. So dot authentication, mobile apps, and then I don't want to get into that. So what exactly it's going to do is that it is going to run that app inside the developer side. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is that, is there any other way we can push this app? Means yes, what you can do is that you can directly publish it, but it's for production environments. If you think that your app is working fine, if you want to publish it, then what is the environment? How exactly you publish is that right click on the demo app and click on publish. What exactly it is going to do is that it is going to generate a package file called an .app file, so where you can go and upload this app to the app catalog. So what does it mean? So if you look at the SharePoint online right now, you see here in the apps, so it says, okay, what is my app catalog site? So you need to have an app catalog site so that this app will be installed so that it is accessible to all the other users. So when we develop a custom component, right, if it needs to be accessible to all your members of your organization, then what we need to do is that we need to put it in a location or a store where in a SharePoint store, or it's an app catalog where it is accessible to all the users. So that is called as an app catalog site. So where let's quickly yes, what exactly it does is that it is going to create a SharePoint site again for us, and there we are going to upload that app. Once you upload that app is available for all the users. So now, how about the SharePoint provided us tab? Uh, how can we publish this? Now we know that for uh, SharePoint Online, what we have created in our SharePoint hosted app, which we have installed through an app. But how about this? Same way, right click on it, publish. So you will be able to publish this. Same way, it's going to, but if you want to publish it, then this app has to be published to any website. Means it's an IAS website or it has to be in Azure. So I can't. So you have to create your own IAS website over there and share Azure, and then you have to publish it over there so that this will be accessible. Or you can create your own IAS website and you can add it to your local IAS. I mean, in your any one of your servers. Now, what exactly I was talking now about apps is that now when I click on edit site, right, edit page, right, so you will be able to see certain apps. Now you see here, insert. So see here, so these are the controls which I was talking about, web parts or app parts. Now these are the controls which we are talking about. Once you deploy, right, so you'll be able to get that apps. So web parts are nothing but a controls which contains a specific piece of, I mean, self-contained a control which can have an information it is designed to, which is designed to be. For example, a document. Now, if you observe here, document is also a web part. Means it contains information about all the documents. So if you consider the blog, it has certain web parts controls like, okay, what exactly, some information about the blogs. Previously, we created one blog website, right? So if you go to that blog site, you will have all the controls related to the containers. Controls are nothing, web parts nothing but a containers which has information about the blogs, certain pieces or certain sections which are there available for the blog, which relevant to the blog. Okay, now that's about, how about the modern UI? So what kind of uh, uh, I will take the questions. I will take the questions finally. So give me some time. So how about the modern UI? So does the modern UI support this kind of functionality? No, you cannot develop that kind of functionalities in modern UI. So how do I install? How do I add these kind of features here? For example, whatever. How can I add my own customizations over here? How do I do that? Yes, that's nothing but a SharePoint framework. You need to install the SharePoint framework in order to make use of the customizations over here. So how do I do that? So for that, what I have to do is that I need to install my uh, SharePoint framework. So SharePoint framework is nothing but it provides the clients, it allows us to create a modern UI web parts, like how we have seen the modern experience, right? We can create such kind of modern UI with the help of SharePoint framework, web parts and extensions. Okay. Now, one more thing is that it's not framework dependent. You can make use of your Angular, your Knockout, or React.js for developing this SharePoint framework. Now let's quickly show you how exactly, uh, if you want to install the SharePoint framework, right? So what exactly SharePoint framework, if you want to install, means you need to have Node.js. Let me go through that. So basically, if you want to install the SharePoint framework, right, we have to make sure that we have so we have Node.js installed, npm installed, uh, gulp is installed, and Visual Studio Code. I mean, relevant to tools are required. For example, if you want to do a server-side development, so what exactly the basic requirement is, I need to have the Visual Studio installed. But whereas Visual Studio, whereas you want to develop a modern UI, you need to have a different tools to be installed.
లేదు ఇప్పుడు నాకు టెన్షన్ ఎక్కువ ఏంటంటే అరే మన పేరు ఏంది రా భయ్ ఇప్పుడు ఏమి ఎక్కడుండే వాళ్ళము ఎక్కడైపోతున్నాము.
Manjunath, can you mute the participants?
Yes, I'm checking for that. Sorry. Can you guess? I'm looking for that.
అదే కదా.
Where am I? Where is that?
కానీ కానీ అన్న అయితే టచ్ లో ఉన్నాడు అయితే మీకు రంజిత్ అన్యాయం అసలు అంత అంత అన్యాయం అన్న అసలు ఆయన చేసి తప్పకే.
Yes, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Now, in order to make use of SharePoint framework or a modern UI, right, we need to make sure that we are installing the SharePoint framework. So what exactly the SharePoint framework is that SharePoint framework is a new version, a new framework which Microsoft has released from SharePoint 2016. So you don't need to develop, there are limitations with respect to the add-ons or server-side controls. So in order to overcome those limitations, so Microsoft has come up with some framework called as a open source SharePoint framework, such a way that you can develop a rich modern UI which is more responsive irrespective of your own any JavaScript framework. So in order to do that, what can I do? What are the frameworks I need to install? Is that you need to have this Node.js installed in your machine, and you need to have the Visual Studio, and you need to have this gulp. So now what exactly what is Node.js? Why we need the Node.js? Node.js is basically required if you want to execute any JavaScript runtime. It provides a JavaScript runtime after your, not in the browser. Of, if you want to execute the SharePoint code, not in the browser, so Node.js provides the runtime environment for you. Now, if you want to create, now if you observe here the Visual Studio, we were able to select the templates. How would it be able to get the templates? Because we have the templates. But SharePoint Framework, if you want to get the templates, then something called as Yeoman, you need to install the Yeoman. What it does is that it's going to provide us the artifacts which are required for the SharePoint, which are going to install the packages for the SharePoint. So what is the gulp? Like on right click, how we are giving the build and publish, right? So gulp is going to help us building and publishing that. Okay, now let me quickly do creating of a new SharePoint framework web part. So what I do is that I'll go to the command prompt. So this is one of the one which I haven't created. Let me see if that is running. Bench. Okay, I'll just come out of this. Okay, now my requirement is I want to create a SharePoint modern web part. Means, for example, if you go to the modern UI, let's say, how can I add a modern component like this? How can I add some custom component like this? So is that provides with the help of SharePoint framework. So what are the basic things which you need to install for that is you need to have the Node.js installed. You need to have the Node.js. So another thing you need to install the Yeoman. So another thing is you need to install the gulp. Okay. Other requirement what you need to have is that you need to have the Visual Studio Code, means any code editor. So I'm going to take here the Visual Studio Code. So Node.js is basically a runtime. Okay. So Yeoman is mainly for creating the generating the scaffoldings or the project structure for us. Gulp is mainly for building and publishing the files. Gulp help us to build, publish, deploy, and so on. Okay. Visual Studio is nothing but code is a tool which editor where we are going to open the code and run that. Now, how do I once you install this, right? So how can I create a project for that? Let's see that. Now what I'm going to do is that Yeoman, it's a standard one at Microsoft / SharePoint. So I'm sorry, it's a spelling mistake over there. So what exactly it does is that, okay, it asks, okay, what is the project name you want to create? What are the, where exactly you want to target? This is a SharePoint Online with SharePoint Online, or whether you want to create a new project directory or something like that. Okay, now you observe here. So which type, whether you want to create a web part or extension or a library. So I say that, okay, I want to create a web part. Okay, what is the name of your web part? What you want to create? So I'll say that, let me say dev welcome. Okay, I'll say that dev welcome. What is an, if you want to give the description, you can give the description. That's what I've been, I don't give the description now. Whether it needs to be a JavaScript or whether you want to use any JavaScript based, I say currently no. Now what exactly it's going to do is that now it's going to create all the project structure, project artifacts which are required to load my project. Now if you observe this, this is the one which I previously created. It's going to create all the project structure, project scaffoldings which are required. Basically, if you observe here, it's going to create a src folder. So TypeScript TS file. So basically this is the file which the Microsoft is SharePoint framework is tightly integrated with the SharePoint TypeScript, means it's going to again convert into a JavaScript framework. Okay, so and it's going to have the node modules. What are the modules? I mean, which are the modules which are required for this project to run? It's installed inside the node module. Okay, so package.json, it's going to have all your what exactly you have installed over here and the dependencies. Okay, let's see what exactly it happened. No, this is not the one. So is it completed? Dev welcome. Okay, now it got created. So now what I do is that let's go to this particular path. Let me open that and see that here. What is the name we have given here? Dev is at. Okay. So now how do I run my project here? So now let's say gulp serve. It's going to run my workbench here. So this is the see here. This is the one what we have created, right? Dev welcome here. So this is how you create your custom components or the dev customized components for your modern UI. Now where exactly I can see this code, where exactly this welcome is coming, where exactly this learn more is coming from, you can observe here when you go to the Visual Studio, right? So there is something called as let me look into that. Welcome. Yes, now you see here dev welcome. See, welcome to Sharepoint. So whatever we see here, right, customization of Sharepoint. Now when I say here welcome to the session, so when I run this, right, just I see here, when I just press Control S, it's going to run behind the scenes. You don't need to refresh the browser again. It's going to compile and it's going to run again. See here, it's going to, it observes some changes are occurred in the file when we click on the Control S, and it's going to refresh the browser. It won't refresh the browser. See here, welcome to the demo session. Without refreshing the screen, we are able to see the changes. So that's it, guys. I don't want to take more deeper in detail of these things. So let's end this demo. So I will take up the questions. So I'll just unmute. Where is my meeting? Participants, unmute all. Yeah. So that's it, guys. So if you have any questions, definitely I will take it. So I don't know take much deeper than this. So I think it's almost 1.5 hour session. So yep. So I just give you a high level what exactly SharePoint is offering, and we can see more customizations and more things. So just because of time constraints, I cannot take it more deeper. So just I had given you a high level overview. What are the customizations? What are the different options which are available? However, I was not able to show you the server side because I don't have the SharePoint server installed locally in my machine. Otherwise, I would have shown you that as well. I have shown you the development of what are the different like SharePoint add-ins like SharePoint client provide SharePoint hosted add-in, provider hosted add-in, and the modern UI components how you can develop. And the same way how you have the like how you click on publish, same way here also we can click on publish and we can Gulp also provides us help us to publish the commands. We have the standard commands for that. You can just follow that. You will be able to do that. So yes, I'll questions now. Any questions?
Hey Manjunath, myself Jagdish.
Yes, Jagdish.
Yep. a few things. One thing was, my very first point was, is it possible to apply script editor web part in our modern site?
Script editor web part, I think you need to go with uh, your custom code. I don't think it's possible in modern pages. I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure. I need to check.
So we need to go with SPFX solution only
Yes,
to
yes,
apply
yes,
any
yes,
custom
yes.
code. Okay.
Yeah.
So second thing is, you were speaking about a provider host model, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
while deploying our provider host app model, so it
yes.
will be deployed in our Azure database.
Yes. So not Azure
So
database, not an Azure database. So
hmm,
what you have to do is that, see, basically all the apps has to be running in a website in IaaS. So what you have to do is that you have to create an Azure website and you have to host inside that. When you create an Azure website, right, it is going to give you a profile. So when you go to Azure website, right, you have to create a
hmm,
website over there. Okay.
okay.
Once you create a website over there, what it does is that it gives you some options called publish profile. Okay.
Hmm,
So once you get that profile, you need to just give that profile. It will go and upload over there.
hmm, okay. Okay. In that case, consider a simple example like I'm creating a registration form. Okay.
Okay.
Entry I made, all those entries must have to be stored in a SharePoint list. Okay.
Okay.
Can is it better way of approach to go with provider host app model or also with a SharePoint host app model? I think it may be a SharePoint host app model will support, but if we go with provider app model, hosted app model, will it support all these entries to be entered into the SharePoint list?
Yes, there is no restrictions for that. You can do everything. So it's for target level. So in fact, if you're going to use with if you are a .NET guys, if you go with SharePoint provider hosted app with .NET C# coding side, it's very easy for the developers, to work with SharePoint object model. If you're a .NET guys and if you want to work with the JavaScript object model, maybe it could be a difficult initial stages, but it depends upon the business requirement. For example, if you say that we don't have the Azure subscription, then yes, it all depends upon the business, because it's a cost. End of the day,
Okay.
it's a cost for the business. So if you
Hmm.
have an Azure subscription and if you are ready to host it, yes, you can do that. There is no harm in that. Otherwise, provider hosted apps also, SharePoint hosted apps also supports this with
Hmm.
more with less cost than that. I mean, if there's a cost, there's cost is involved over there, but here you don't need to have an extra cost for that.
Okay.
And also
Okay.
you can make use of all your you can make use of your knockout or angler, and you can make it more design that one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And my third point was, we are using this I mean, a SharePoint framework only for the user interface design, right? Not for any, for list. If I want to customize my existing list or to apply some user interface for my SharePoint list or any other branding, look and feel. So, is it possible to use SPFX framework for branding, look and feel for my SharePoint list or for my
First, I'll come to the branding. If you want to apply your own custom branding for your list, right? So what I would suggest is that if you want to have your own branding, there is something called a SharePoint lookbook. Okay. So what it does is that it provides you a rich themes, I mean, rich customizations, how exactly you want to create rich templates, how exactly you want to view that. If you look at the designs, organization, if just this SharePoint lookbook is a Microsoft one. Okay. If you look at this,
Okay.
it's having a n number of designs. Okay. The end of the day, you are having a data or in a SharePoint list. Only thing is you need to configure it how exactly the data needs to be displayed. So it has all the designs designed over here, and you can make use of them. For example, if I go for product support, now if you observe here how exactly the data looks like, this is a template. See here how exactly the data is looking here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can make use of these kind of templates.
Okay.
So existing, you can just make look after the existing functionalities, means out of the box, which provides any functionalities, then otherwise you can go for that.
Okay. Okay. And
So yeah, you can see the different templates here, not only this one, for
mm,
organizations, community, branding, collaboration, marketing sites.
okay.
I'll get a questions from others. Any others? Any have any questions Thanks. Just I'll give chance for others also, Jagdish.
Yeah, sure.
Others, Arpita or somebody else, Srinivasan, Dinesh. So far you are able to follow. So because I took more time on SharePoint administration, so that's the reason why I could not walk you through more on development side. So
Yeah, hi Manjunath. I'm Dinesh here. I have a
yeah,
question. Actually, can we add, some other apps from, Microsoft Store to
yes,
into the site?
yes, it's no harm in that. We can add that. So every SharePoint site has an option to add from the SharePoint store. You can do that. So if I go back to that one, right? So it's possible you can get the data from SharePoint store.
So that would be, that will work on classic, modern classic and
Yes, there is no
both.
restrictions for that. I don't think there is a restriction for modern team sites for getting an apps from uh, in that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Manjunath, if you don't mind, it's my one more thing is we are currently working with SharePoint on-prem, okay, for triggering any scheduled task or considered like a time or job. We are using console application for all our scheduled tasks, okay. SharePoint on-premise. For example, we have two different types of list. When in second list, whenever a user, when consider it may be an instructor or trainer, once he approves a particular course, and it need to go and update the same in the first list by looking into the same courses. It need to update the status for all the for that unique course by looking into something like that. So in this case, is it possible for me to trigger any these kind of function like a scheduled task or a timer job in SharePoint online? Whether
Very good
application
question.
will support.
Yeah, there is something like that. See, basically, one thing what I need to do is that I'm not sure why you have chosen that approach. So there is something called as workflows in SharePoint. So workflows are more better feasible solution than you go for a console application or triggering like that. Or else if you are, since you are using a SharePoint on premises, there is something called as event receivers in SharePoint. What it does is that whenever an item is updated, you just need a small customizations required for that. What it does is that remote event receivers always checks for some updates happened on your website, some updates happened on your list. Then what it does, some updates happen, then that whenever event is triggered, that will push to the respective action what you need to perform. For example, you want to send an email, or you want to update another SharePoint list, or whenever you want to send an email for anything else, that everything possible with SharePoint on premises. With respect to SharePoint online, what supports is that there is something called as flows, Microsoft Flow. Okay, so that flow will help you to update the SharePoint list that is there. So however exactly it is that, right? For example, when I go to the documents, there is something called as Microsoft Flow. That feasibility is there. So
you mean Power Flow, right?
Yes, Microsoft Flow.
Okay.
With the help of flows, we can do that. That option is there. We can do that. So
it will update all the item in my first list, because
yes,
the only unique thing will be a session ID, and whatever the session for example, in my list 2, I have a session ID called 123. Okay, in my list 1, I have different session IDs, and for one, I need to update only for one particular session ID, 123 something. Okay, and for under that particular session ID, I have 4 items or 5 items. Okay. All those 5 items by looking into my session ID.
Yeah, that's possible. You can define the rules. That's possible. You can define the rules. Microsoft Flow supports that. So you just need to define the rules for that.
Thank you, Manjini. Thank you.
So overall, our session, you were able to follow. It was more,
I was expecting something more related to Graph UI.
Okay.
And also
Microsoft Graph,
about
I'll just
Power
give you
Apps.
See, Microsoft Graph, what exactly it does, it provides an APIs. For example, If you want to consume the data outside of your SharePoint or outside of from an office, so Microsoft provides an API so that you can consume the data from there, and you can uh, update it over here. You can show to the business users. For example, you want to show some office documents other than your website in a communication site. So how can you do that? Is with the help of Microsoft Graph. It provides an APIs. There's nothing but it's an APIs. You need to call the APIs and consume the data. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
You just need to know how to call the APIs.
Okay.
You just need Graph supports only the APIs for the SharePoint. How to consume it.
Okay. Okay.